Ready?
Ready. Here we go.
Okay, we got 15 minutes.
I got about 20 minutes. That's okay.
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 WSE fans, if you want to see some great interviews, you have come to the right place. Pro wrestlers, soap stars, singers, and celebrities, all right here on Skype. This is Chris Van Vliet, and you are listening to the WSE Lounge.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another great edition of the WSE Lounge here on Skype. I am joined by the PWI 2019 Rookie of the Year, the 2018 MLW Rookie of the Year, the son of the legendary Brian Pillman, the one and only MLW Pro Wrestling superstar, Brian Pillman Jr.
How are you guys? How are you, ladies and gentlemen? How we doing?
Doing really good. Welcome to the show. It's an honor to have you on.
Thank you for having me, my friend.
You're welcome. What compelled you to become a pro wrestler?
Well, I always knew growing up that my father was in the business of professional wrestling, so there was always a reason for me to dream of that life one day for myself. And finally, after 20 years and long of debating it and back and forth, I finally decided to make it my dream. And every day my dream comes closer to reality.
Man, that's wonderful. Wonderful to have such a legacy to follow in the footsteps of your father. I mean, he was a great wrestler. I remember in WCW, my favorite wrestling tag team was the Hollywood Blondes, Brian Pillman, Stunning Steve Austin. They come out like this and do that, have that song. That was just so awesome. I loved it.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. How did you get started? Talk me through it.
So I got started by I woke up one day and I started to make some phone calls. And one of those phone calls I made was to Stone Cold Steve Austin. And he put me on the right path. He told me the people to talk to. And one of those people, one of the best training schools in the world at that time, probably the best, was the Lance Storm Wrestling Academy.
Mm-hmm.
So once I got the information on that, on where to go and how to make myself a professional star, it was off to the races from there. I scheduled my training for 3 months up in Lance Storm's Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Lived there for 3 months of my life and got to meet a lot of different people and got to see a lot of different backgrounds and cultures, and there was a lot of diversity in the school. So it was very important.
Now, Lance Storm, he's a technical wrestler. He's a former member of the Impact Players with Just Incredible. He's done it all in this business, and I know that had to be a very amazing opportunity for you to be trained by the legendary Lance Storm and for him to train you. And also, you said you were in Canada for 3 months. So did you have a chance to look at the Stu's dungeon? Did you get a bit part of that?
No, I was not able to because, the Hart family house was owned by a different entity at that time, and we were not allowed to go or take a look or anything. So, yeah, unfortunately, that chapter is closed. That book is closed. So.
Okay, so let me ask this. Sometime down the road, because I know Lance Storm's kind of semi-retired, but sometime down the road, if the opportunity were to open up, would you be open to having a dream match, teacher versus student, Brian Pillman Jr. versus Lance Storm?
Absolutely. I think it would be a great hit. I think we would do a lot of things. We would have a lot of synergy in the ring together, being that he trained me. I don't think we'd miss a single beat. I think it would be a wonderful match.
Now, do you have any plans in your career to possibly try and have reinvention of the Hollywood Blondes with you and somebody else?
You know, I always thought that would be really interesting. I still have the vest that my father wore with the Hollywood Blondes. So I always thought that would be a very powerful tribute to him. And I've just been looking for the right partner and the right company to do it with because, you know, an idea like that, I don't want to waste, you know.
Oh, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I mean, if you have the right partner, you guys can go full force and go into it because you got the knowledge that your dad put in you and envisioned in you. And something else I wanted to ask you, have you had any luck with finding that Hasbro WCW action figure of your dad?
You talking about those expensive ones that you were linking
Yeah,
me?
yeah, the one
Yeah, I've never seen any of those, but if I ever get my hands on one, it will definitely be a treasured item.
Well, I know when I was younger, the only one I had was the one with the orange tights and the black stripes. That's the only one I ever had. I didn't even know they made the other two. So
Yeah,
that's
those other two are really rare because they're released in different countries. That's why they have different
okay.
clothing on. Yeah.
Okay. So, can you tell me uh, a road story memory, if you remember, of your dad? Uh, any kind of road story you can tell me that
Well,
you've
you know,
done?
I was never really on the road with him because he passed away when I was 5 years old. But I do remember, you know, when I was really young, I do have vague memories of riding around in his Hummer. You know, he had a really nice Hummer, and so I do remember riding around in that thing. But other than that, I don't have any real stories for you, my friend.
Okay. Now let's see. I heard now. I heard this through several different people. How several times many people said how cool it would have been if when AEW Dynamite debuted on TNT, if they could have had you against Jushin Thunder Liger in the first match to recreate what happened in WCW Nitro with your
Yeah,
dad against Jushin Thunder Liger.
yeah, that would have been awesome. That would have been such a blast to be able to recreate that moment. But like with everything in wrestling, it's not up to me, and it's not up to necessarily up to the fans either. And everything has to come together organically. And I thought that the young man that got to have that match was definitely the best choice for the job. I think it was Sammy Guevara and Cody,
Uh,
and I think they put on an excellent match. One that I couldn't have even fathomed, you know, it was that good. So
yeah.
it's all about, you know, using the right people at the right times. And Sammy was a guy that when I came into the business, he was already doing PWG and already making waves around the world. So I've always been a couple leagues behind him, but I'll be chasing that AEW title very soon, my friend.
So is that a confirmation that you're going to AEW?
Oh, it's not exactly a confirmation. I'm just, you know, envisioning. I'm putting that out into the universe. You know, I'm putting that out in the universe that maybe one day I'll be able to chase that title.
Okay, because I know that you were in the over the budget battle royal with AEW Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
Their first ever pay per view. It was awesome to see you in there, and
Oh, thank you for
was,
watching. I appreciate you seeing me in there.
oh, you're welcome. What was that experience like for you?
You know, it was incredible. There was a lot of people in that match, a lot of people trying to get their moves out there and really, you know, show themselves and show out their fighting spirit. But I was very fortunate for the short time I was in there. I was able to get everything I could out of it, and it was a great experience.
Now, what are your thoughts on MJF?
You know, MJF, you know, he's really stuck up, you know, in the locker room, and not a lot of people like him just because, you know, he's really, you know, he's very rich already, and he just kind of wrestles to make fun of other people. But yeah, he's kind of a piece of shit, but you know, that's just how it goes. You know, you got some people that are in wrestling for the right reasons, and some people, you know, they're in it just to make themselves feel better than everybody else, and you know, he likes to remind people of that. So, I'm a guy that, I'm out here to make a living and to try to feed my future family. And he's a kid that he was born with all the money in the world, and he just wants to go out there and act like he's better than everybody else. So everybody wrestles for different reasons, But I've never had a personal issue with him, but I can tell you right now that he treats other people like crap, and he doesn't treat me like crap because he knows that I'm Brian Pillman Jr., but he definitely treats a lot of other people like crap because he is a piece of crap.
Okay, and let's see. Okay, now this is a fan message. Malcolm Wildman wanted me to say hi to you and thanks for your dad's matches and characters and the pictures you two took together and autographs at BTW on December 6, 2019.
Wow. Well, tell him you're welcome, and I look forward to recreating more memories with you guys. And once we get the wrestling world back up and running.
Okay, and let's see. What is your favorite match that your dad had that you remember?
I was just watching some matches of his on Nitro last night, so I'm really a big fan of his Nitro match with Dean Malenko and his Nitro match with Eddie Guerrero. Some really good matches on there where he was just, he was just working that heel style and really having fun with it. So.
Oh yeah, those were great. I'll tell you. I remember a lot of your dad's matches, his feuds with Sullivan, and when he was in the Four Horsemen, it was Chris Benoit and Ric Flair, Dean Malenko, and you had Mongo in there as well. No, Mongo came in a later time. Sorry about that, but yeah, you had those four in there, and I was just watching the other day on here that Superstar KM, I believe he used to be in TNA. He was saying that Brian Pillman was one of his favorite wrestlers. Your dad. He was saying that form of the Four Horsemen was his favorite.
Oh yeah, Kevin Matthews. Yeah, he's my dude. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
Really good guy. He's really taking care of me in the business. So I hope I can keep working with him.
And let's see. Let's see here. Have you ever wrestled Barrington Hughes?
Yeah, actually, I have been in the ring with Barrington Hughes before.
How did that go? Because I know Barrington is one huge guy.
It was in my early stages of Major League Wrestling on TV. Barrington Hughes, him and I, we kind of clashed down in Miami, Florida. So that was a really cool experience.
Wow. And let's see, another fan question. Harold Martin wants to know: is KFW in Sevierville, Tennessee, and is it right by Pigeon Forge where Dollywood is?
Yeah. Sevierville's right down there near Dollywood. We have some really great matches down there. We got a show coming up June 19th and then another one on July 10th. So stay tuned.
Okay, yeah, he's hoping to work with that company in the future. He's actually a referee on the indie scene.
Okay.
Referee Radar Martin.
Yeah.
And let's see here. What was it like for you now wrestling in Quator, India, with Eric Bischoff's company against Enzo Amara?
It was in Qatar.
Yeah.
Which is, some people pronounce it like that, but no, it was a great experience to experience a whole nother culture, a whole nother way of life and their religious values and stuff, and you start to see what a beautiful, beautiful country it is because of how well they keep it clean and they take care of it. And the laws over there are very strict.
Uh,
So yeah, it was a once in a lifetime experience to wrestle Enzo Amore in front of a crowd that had already seen his work and kind of understood who he was. So we had a lot of crowd interaction out there, and I was able to get over with the crowd as well. So it was something very, very interesting, and a couple of the veterans like Eric Bischoff and Kevin Nash were able to see the match and give us some positive feedback on it. So it's great.
that's awesome. So, would you say over there in India the fan base is different than over here in America?
Oh
Like,
yeah, they're definitely a much older style crowd. You know,
uh,
they're getting the media that we put out, several years later. So they're more or less they're like an old school '80s crowd.
okay, very very cool. Let's see here. Who do you look up to in wrestling that has inspired you? I know, of course, you look up to your dad, but who else do you look up to?
I got a lot of people I look up to. When I first started my career, I looked up to Cody Rhodes because of his story and his similar the trials that he's had to go through.
Mm-hmm.
And I always looked up to Chris Jericho because he was, the full package wrestler. He was the rock star. He was friends with Lance Storm, my trainer. Very close friends with him. So, yeah, it was always something that I looked up to with those guys. So those are the people I look after. Kenny Omega, guys like that they have the energy, they have the body, and they have the skill in the wrestling. So I'm aiming for all 3 points.
Okay. And speaking of that, now let me add to that question. Do you know the song? Are you able to sing the song "Judas" by Fozzy?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it's a good song.
Yeah, it is. Really is. Let's see here. Okay. What are some what is a hidden talent that you have that people don't know about?
I'm really good at Guitar Hero.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I should be really good at it.
And let's see. Okay, so I got three other questions for you. Okay, so what's it been like for you uh, being a part of the New Era Heart Foundation in MLW? Because it started out with Brett,
Yeah.
Jim, and then it started out with Brett, Jim, Owen, Bulldog, and then
Yep.
Brian Pillman.
Oh, it's been a dream come true. To be able to carry on that name. It's a very strong name to carry on, and I think that there was nobody better to do it than the three of us. We had a very good mixture of size and speed and gymnastic athleticism, and then of course, my character and my story of who I am. It all kind of tied together, and we created a very strong brand.
I I think that's so cool that y'all been able to do that and have a New Heart Foundation like that. I mean, with being related to, all the one, some of the ones that were in the original Heart Foundation. I mean, it's just amazing. Do you know if Teddy Hart will return to MLW, or is he through with it, or?
Teddy Hart was released, just because he had some issues getting over to Mexico and stuff like that happens. And unfortunately, that kind of contract, he had a contract to be there and they pulled the trigger and let him go. Yeah. So, I don't know if he'll be back there. I think he's still working on some projects of his own, and he's the type of guy that I don't think it's going to keep him down. He's one of the people that's one of the most talented wrestlers in the business. So I think he's going to figure it out, and he's going to make a good living for him without MLW.
Oh, connection lost.
So Uh-oh, I still see you
Okay,
there.
yeah. Okay. Connection lost for a minute. You said he was one of those people that, and then you cut off.
Yeah, I said he's one of those people that's so talented and professional that, you know, he's going to make it anywhere he goes, you know.
Okay, and can you tell us about what you remember? Because I know this is like a staple in professional wrestling when people think of your dad. Can you tell us what you remember about the famous gun incident on Monday Night Raw with Stone Cold and
Well, no,
Brian Pillman?
that seems like a good question to end on here. That was a very obviously infamous moment in the pro wrestling business, and it was something that I was not ready as a young child to be ready for my home to be invaded. So when Steve broke that glass, you know, it really frightened us kids, and we you know, we weren't sure what was real and what was fake at that point. You know, we got this guy breaking into our house. My dad's pulling out a gun, and we were screaming. We were scared, and a lot of the camera people and people that were helping out on the scene really had to take care of us and us upstairs. So, no, it was definitely something very powerful moment, and it's something that'll be scarred into my memory for the rest of my life. So,
Wow. Well, I'll tell you. Last question I got before I ask my final question.
absolutely.
Do you know anything if ML? Because I've heard rumors out there. Is MLW going to be on a major cable channel besides BEN Sports?
Yeah, you know, I think there's some talks to really create a really strong brand, and that brand's going to continue to get bigger. I've been a huge part of it. We've been building this brand for a couple years now. I've been very excited to work with MLW, but the future remains to be seen. You know, I definitely have very big hopes. I think the ambitious people at MLW are going to keep working hard for that. So.
Okay, and let me do let me have the closing video play real quick, and then I'm gonna ask you a final question. And that'll be it.
Awesome.
You there? Let's see. You still there? Okay, I think the
Yep.
connection. Awesome.
You there?
Okay, you there?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what happened. The connection lost again. I'm going to go ahead and play the closing video. And then after that, I'm going to ask you one final question. And that'll be it.
Awesome.
Okay, here we go.
Hospital. I'm also playing Trevor Kraft on Penny Dreadful. And I'm here at WSE Lounge, and thank you for listening.
And that was Hudson West. He plays on Penny Dreadful. You can watch on Showtime. But my last question for you is, do you have anything that you would like to promote, merchandise, upcoming appearances, anything? The floor is yours.
Well, you know, you can follow me on Twitter at Flying Brian Jr., Instagram at Flying Brian 41. I've got some brand new micro brawlers available for sale on ProWrestlingTees.com/Brian Pillman Jr. You can check those out. They're brand new. And also, you know, stay tuned for the show coming up in Sevierville, Tennessee on June 19th. Thank you, Pat.
Well, thank you so much for being on the WSC Lounge, Brian. And I'll get this out on all social medias. It'll be dropping on Tuesday, June the 9th, which will be next Tuesday.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.